Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College System's Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Join us for enlightening conversations with community leaders and industry experts showcasing experiences, addressing key issues, and celebrating successes in the workforce initiatives across the state. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Innovation Unplugged. I'm Houston Blackwood, host of the show. On my left, in a new shirt for this episode, is Matt Heaton. How you doing, Matt?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Full transparency, we record these things back to back to back, so we try not to make it look stale. It got to be fresh, right? Are you fresh today? Good. Anyway, on my right is what's going to be a special guest, guys. Devoski Boyd. He's the owner of Boyd Walton Construction. Found you on LinkedIn. Saw a post, and I don't even know how I saw it, man. But I was like, I gotta talk to that guy. And you responded, and we've been working towards this date. So,
yeah,
you got a construction company, property development, some contracting. You started out in property solutions. We'll get into all that, but most importantly, a really cool thing, you got your executive MBA from Faulkner recently. So,
yes, sir. Last year.
How old are you?
29.
Okay, I don't even know what I was doing at 29, man. I think I was like trying to figure life out. So
still same.
Good for you. We're so happy that you're here.
Thank you.
From the Montgomery area.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Good. So before we get started with like actual questions, give us a quick rundown, Devoski, of who you are, where you came from, and how you got right here.
Sure. So, Houston, Matt, thank you guys for inviting me to the show. I'm very excited about this conversation. My name is Devoski Boyd, born and raised in Montgomery, Alabama. So I like to say I'm a son of Montgomery, Alabama. I was educated K through 12 in Montgomery. I went to Alabama State University, studied political science. That was a really fun time in my life where I got to get a chance to grow towards the young man, the young professional that I needed to be. I kind of got there like a lot of college students get to college, scared, nervous, and, ready to have fun, but also not knowing exactly what they like to do on the other side of the 4 years. So I was able to find myself while I was at Alabama State and got a chance to participate in Student Government Association, got a chance to serve my college as a senator, and as a senior, I got a chance to serve as the chief of staff to the SGA president. So all of those experience molded, shaped me, and ultimately gave me the confidence to, go and do great things after I graduated. So after I graduated, I went and worked as a lobbyist in Montgomery, and that was amazing. So worked as a lobbyist for a little while, and then I had a conversation with the gentleman that I was working for, and just had a very transparent conversation like, hey, I really appreciate, this opportunity. It's, it's on the path that I went to school for, political science, but I think there's more that I would like to accomplish. I think there's more that I can be doing as a young man, as a person in this community. And that's when I just had that conversation with him, seeking his blessing to just kind of leave and continue with my business. We started in 2018 when I was a sophomore at Alabama State University. Started out pressure washing, and from pressure washing we would just post pictures on Facebook. We would tell our friends and family, hey, we're doing this, so if you need this work, we can help you. And that word of mouth turned into an actual business. And I noticed I had an actual business model. I enjoyed pressure washing. It's a very oddly satisfying task to do. So started doing pressure washing when I was in college, just trying to make a couple bucks to be able to take my girlfriend, now wife, out, instead of asking my parents for money. So got a chance to grow that company, and we recently rebranded. So we'll probably get a chance to talk more about that.
Yeah, don't tell that story
I'm not
yet.
gonna drop that sauce yet, but that's who I am, son of Montgomery. Very, very committed to helping my community grow. Very committed to serving others in my community and serving the people that we work for. So, I am just a young man who have, taken advantage of opportunities that I've had, and did well with those opportunities, and they resulted in more opportunities. So, that good energy continued to progress. And, one of the opportunities I had 3 years ago has allowed me to get a chance to talk to you guys about that experience. So I'm excited to talk about that as well.
We'll get there for sure. I'm really impressed, or I was impressed anyway, just at the outside glance, even more just in the 20 minutes you've been in the studio, hearing from you. So got some good stuff. The first question really, I think, is a pivotal point in your life. You referenced it. You were a lobbyist and it was going well. You were on track to what you thought you wanted. But you at some point realized that wasn't what you wanted for your future, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think a lot of young people, men especially, I've got a 16-year-old in the house. He's got a 17-year-old, 16. They have no clue, but there will be a time when they think they know and then they realize they don't. Yeah. So in that moment when you were working as a lobbyist and you said, I want to do more, what was it specifically, if you remember, if there was a thing that made you say, I need to do X with my life?
Well, I can tell you exactly my thought process. I noticed that I wasn't getting the traction that I was looking to output in maybe the roles and responsibilities at my job. And I just kind of had to look within and, be accountable for, let's say, the slow progress that I was seeing with maybe tasks and, getting responses to certain people and things of that sort. So I noticed that I had some type of pushback within myself. So I just really just try to reflect and, sit down, be calm, and not make any emotional rash decisions. And so that's when I went to kind of talk to my boss, and I felt like I couldn't give him all of me, meaning, what he needed from me as his employee, as, essentially an investment to his firm. I couldn't give that to him at the time because I noticed I hadn't done that for myself, meaning, I needed to at least go all in on myself, knowing that I have this vision, knowing that I have this goal. And instead of regretting it when I'm 29 today, now I look back and say, I'm glad I made that decision to have that conversation, to take that leap of faith. And also, as a young man, I didn't want to regret not being able to say, at least I tried. Yeah. A lot of people don't even try doing things that, that they look into, that they research on. And I didn't want to be one of those people. And I'll say this, recently I was talking to an investor that I work for, very successful, high net worth investor. And he was just saying, look, Devoski, we're not going to take forever to do this task because we don't want to allow us being slow and us trying to make this perfect to result in it not even happening. So saying that to say, I kind of, I've heard that before, but when he said that, literally this week, it just kind of triggered a switch in my mind, like, hey, these ideas, these visions and goals that I have in my head that I haven't necessarily maybe put on paper or moved on, I got to get them out my head, because the longer they're in my head, the longer I'm not being able to serve others. I'm not able to make money. I'm not able to, grow as a young man, a young professional, as an entrepreneur. So I would just say that, we all have these great ideas, and instead of, allowing it to be in our head as a great idea for a year, go ahead and just put it out into the universe. And, you may not necessarily do great on it, but you may put it out there and have somebody to say, hey, I think I can help you make this better. So just not allowing your inner thoughts to hinder your progress. We can't allow a thought to be perfect. We have to put it out there in the universe and allow, the people that we work with, our resources, same like with the Alabama community college system, the resource with the skid steer. If I didn't act on it, I may not have gained that skill that I'll have for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a incredible insight. Hearing you say it at 29, but you were thinking that when you were 23, 24?
Yeah. Well, I was, about 22, 23.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Incredible insight to yourself. Don't let your inner thoughts hinder you.
Wow. That's just straight off the dome.
Yeah. So that's incredible. And we talk to people all the time who are in spots where they weren't blessed with opportunity.
No.
Like they made bad decisions to get into a situation that is not plentiful. And they're trying to figure a way out.
Right.
And that's not your case, but it's just like for a young person who has all the resources or a person who has no resources, it's the same thing. That self-doubt is still there. I think as a young man, as an older man too, like that's still true.
Yeah.
Like your inner thoughts can still get in your way very, very much.
Absolutely.
And keep you from taking a chance. For sure. It's a powerful intro, man. Come on with it.
Thank you, man.
Matt, you're up.
Yeah, well, you had mentioned earlier, 2018, you were pressure washing, and then that 2018 was Boyd's Property Solutions. Was that the name of your pressure washing business, or is that what we've built into now? And tell us about that rebrand and how you got to the point you are right now.
Yeah, so in 2018, we started Boyd's Property Solutions.
Okay.
It was a pressure washing company. We were really a handyman service, just looking for odd jobs to, make some income, make some revenue, and of course, get referred. So we started out pressure washing, and we would, just do odd jobs. Family and friends would say, "Hey, can you build my fence? A tree fell on it." This is literally what happened. First time we ever did any privacy fence work. My cousin said, "Hey, storm came, tree fell on my fence," and we went over there to repair it. I didn't know anything about it. It was me and my dad and one of my cousins, Buddy. He was helping us out at that time. But we just did odd jobs, and we didn't always do great work because it was literally trial and error. But we stood behind the product, and if we didn't do something great, we went back to fix it. Always just tried to have a great rapport with our customers, give them good customer service, so we could, of course, be referred to other projects. But today, we have rebranded, and we've grown from Boyd's Property Solutions, and we're now Boyd Walton Construction. And people always ask me, who is Walton? Is this your business partner?
Yeah.
And I say, I'm Boyd, but I'm also Walton.
Okay.
So my mother, her maiden name is Walton, and her dad and his dad were both contractors. So my great grandfather, Elsie Walton, he was the first licensed African American plumber, 1961, in Eastern North Carolina. His son, my grandfather, was also a plumber, master HVAC technician, and master electrician. And it's funny looking back, because when I would go visit them in North Carolina during the summers, I was not outside. I would ride maybe the four-wheelers, the dirt bikes, but I was not in the septic tanks.
Yeah.
Doing cleaning none of the septic. I was not laying utility pipes. I wasn't doing any of that. But it's just funny and necessary to understand how life works, because even though I wasn't out there, I was still in the environment, and God has allowed me to see different things in my life where those life lessons were essentially experiences, and the experiences that I maybe took on as a child, I now have a glimpse of, remembering when, my granddad was, in a septic tank, or my grandfather was, coming home late, things like that. But I never imagined myself being a blue collar entrepreneur. But being a blue collar entrepreneur has, given me the ability to, have freedom as an entrepreneur. And what that means is, man, I get to come some days and have great conversations like this with you guys while my team, they're in the field, they know the task for the day, materials on site, things like that. And I'm able to kind of expand my reach. It didn't start when I had it didn't start out in 2018 when I had a team and I would be able to come 2 hours away from our nearest job site on a Tuesday. We didn't start out like that. We started out where it was me, my dad, a couple of my cousins and my brother. We all just put that work in. So, people look at people like me and say, you're always in the office. Well, I started in the field. Yeah. And I learned that, there's guys that lay tile, paint, install flooring better than me. And they do it faster than me. So, I realized I can't grow this company by always swinging a hammer, always dropping off material. I can grow this by putting some systems in place, finding some great teammates to come work with us and empower them, give them opportunity through character development, self-development, and giving them opportunities to make money, make a way of life. And, that's how we are where we are today, being able to, do projects, but also being able to come and pour into your audience and getting a chance to meet you guys and just have these meaningful conversations. So, it's, it didn't start yesterday and it didn't happen easy, or it didn't happen as I planned. Yeah. But it happened.
It happened. There's an underlying current. I'm not going to go there yet, but I think I understand where you came from, like where your spirit comes from. So the question I have is about that growth. Like you started with just your family pressure washing.
Yeah.
Right. In a tree fall incident, probably a little old lady who had a bunch of other little old lady friends.
Yes, sir.
And Devoski came by and put a pretty good fence up, and she didn't know the difference between pretty good and real good. That's right. But it didn't matter because it looked good to her, right?
That's right.
And then you get the next time you went and you made it real good next time.
Absolutely.
'Cause you probably studied, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's some guys I met at the on-site wastewater conference. Logan Allen, I think is his first name. Logan Allen, and they started off just some like clearing brush.
Okay.
Whatever. They're down in Troy.
Okay.
And these guys are the most Alabama boys you've ever seen, man. They're hilarious. They're pretty big on social media, but they install septic tanks and they do land clearing.
I think
Allen Septic.
There's a guy I follow on Instagram. I can't remember his name. I'll pull it up after we finish. But I bet my bottom dollar it's probably the same guy.
Yeah, and he does real work. Like he was like, hey, here's the technical. Like here's how you really do a good septic install, and then he'll bust off with his like papaw hat.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you about taxes.
Okay.
Let me tell you about hard work, whatever. And it's so good. Like it's like
some good content.
But it's the same spirit. Like in him, like he's like, I just started, man. He got out of the Air Force. They worked on fighter jets. Him and his brother worked on fighter jets, and now they install septic tanks. But wow. I bet they got a lot of zeros in their bank account because they had a spirit.
That's right.
About them, and that's what I'm seeing from you. But the question I have next is about just growth, and like when you started, you were just you felt that urge to do something different, right? You prefaced it, and so, but then you didn't know where you were going. You didn't know there's going to be a rebrand and an expansion into all the stuff you're doing now. So what does that look like for you now? Is what separates you from like, hey, I'm gonna do 10 jobs this month versus here's my intentional growth goal? Like, how do you decide that? Your speed versus your long-term quality of what you're doing?
Well, I'll try to paint this picture. I was watching a podcast and there was a billionaire talking, and he was just like, hey, me and my billionaire buddies, we think different from people like millionaires or, people who are just, doing six figures annually. He said, I don't think, I look at a goal and I look at it for 10 years, 20 years, sometimes even 30 years. But some people look at a goal and they think they can accomplish it, or they're beating themselves up because they can't accomplish it in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. So ever since I've heard that, everything that I've been trying to do business wise, I look at it at a 10-year window. So I'm 29 now. The goals that I'm working on with my business today, I'm not expecting them to really hit the mountaintops for 10 years. But I know that I'll have some wins in year one. I have wins in year two, and that's just compounded interest. So I look at it two ways. If I don't accomplish this goal, I still got 9 other years to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, hey, I need to grow my company to $5 million, $10 million. I have to do it this year. That's not my focus. My focus right now is my systems, my operations, customer service, and keeping, turning leads to actual deals, so I'm just focused on building what I'm not just focused on, but my primary focus is building a sustainable model for my company.
Yep.
A sustainable model that doesn't only benefit my company, but it benefits my community. It benefits everybody who we come in touch with. If that's the older lady at Home Depot who needs my opinion, because she doesn't go in Home Depot, all the way down to the corporate client who needs, they need this unit turn in 10 days. So my goal is to not be so focused on what can possibly happen in 1 year or 2 years, but just saying, hey, this is where I want to be by this year. And if I can do a couple things every year, or I can do 10, 20 things within this year, ultimately, I'm going to get that goal, but I may get it in year 4, year 5, but I'm not crying if it doesn't happen in year 1, because I'm looking at it knowing that it's going to take work. It's going to take a lot of bootstrapping. It's going to take a lot of me going out and talking to people, gaining new business. And most importantly, educating myself and my teammates, our employees on, the different skill sets in construction, and I'm going back to the steer training. So just trying to put the company in a good position to, essentially outlive me.
Yeah. Yeah. What it comes down to is realistic goals followed by realistic expectations.
Yes.
And you mentioned skid steer, so that's a good segue. So 2024, you enrolled and completed our Skills for Success skid steer operator training through the ACCS in your local community college.
Yes, sir.
Why was that important for you as an owner to go through that training personally?
Well, for one, I don't want to be that type of owner that expects the guys or the ladies to do something that I haven't done. So meaning, if they say, hey, I got in this skid and I couldn't get it to operate, well, did you turn the key on? Did you do your safety latch? Like, I know I have the experience, so I can not, rebuttal their argument, but say, hey, let's look at it from this standpoint. This didn't work. So did you do the correct troubleshooting? Did you did you check it? Is the oil good? Like, just understanding the little things. That's why that's one of the reasons I wanted to take it, is because I knew in 2024 that our company was going to grow. I knew we were going to one day drop the Property Solutions name and go to a construction name. I didn't know we would be Boyd Walton. I thought we would just be Boyd Construction. But I had some events that happened, and I had I just felt like it was what I needed to do by honoring my Walston name, and the people who came before me. So that's why I wanted to enroll. But I also wanted to enroll because I knew we would, grow to, landscape. Well, not landscaping, but demoing, mulching projects, just different projects using heavy machinery, skid steers, bulldozers, and heavy machinery in general.
Okay. So have you set aside time for the rest of your team to go through some of this training?
Yes. At the time, I had two of our operators. Well, they're not strictly operators, but they're some guys that worked for us, and I had them to come down, and we actually got it all together, and they're some country boys. They're actually from Vernon, Alabama. So these guys love being in the outdoors. So I saw it as an opportunity for us, for one, to bond as a team, as a company, and for two, to I have some I'm knowledgeable of resources that can help the next man make a way of life. So I didn't want to be a gatekeeper.
Yeah, for sure. I know where Vernon is. It's over in Lamar County.
Yeah, that's right.
On the west side.
That's right.
In-laws had a 40-60 acre farm over there. It was so they went through the same training you did. So
Yes, sir.
Cool.
do as I do, not do as I say.
I guess so. Yes,
There you
sir.
That's good stuff. What was that experience like? So you went through with Trentham State in 2024. It would have been Angela Hurst was there.
Demita would have been there then. right?
Demita was still there.
Yep.
You probably dealt with it, Angela Hurst the whole
Yep.
time. Yep.
Yep.
Sweet lady does a good job over there. What was the course like for you? Because I think a lot of folks are like, well, I don't need to do that. I've already got my own company.
And my brother, he got certified as well. That I just forgot about that. But it was it was good. The information was there. I believe a gentleman that went to church with me gave me the information about it because he works at Trentham, and he was like, "Hey,
Okay.
you can go get certified, and it doesn't cost you $1." And me, when people say, "Hey, we have a scholarship for you," or there's an opportunity, or somebody is going to sponsor such and such, I'm going to jump on that opportunity, because yeah, I'm a business owner, but that doesn't mean I just have all this money to invest or just put out into the ecosystem. So I would advise any business owner, this may be off topic, but I advise any business owner, any entrepreneur, to take advantage of free stuff. Take advantage of free opportunities, free resources, to educate yourself, educate your team, but also give yourself a skill set, because this skill set that we learned and got certified for, we can go work at Billy Bob's construction site and make $25, $35, $40 an hour. So I mean, this is a skill that you never lose unless you just don't care to keep it.
Well, that was the next question: is how does staying close to that work make you a stronger leader? Because I think too, like I had a guy at church. I'm a couple of years from retirement, and I was like, "Hey, Jack, what am I going to do, man? Like, what am I going to do when I can retire?" He goes, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I don't know." He said, "Well, don't do what you're good at." I said, "Jack, that's terrible advice." He's like, "No, because if you do what you're good at, you'll always do the thing, and you'll never grow because you can't trust other people to do the work while you're expanding, whatever." So, and hearing you talk about what you're good at, and then what all you're expanding into, like enough about it, you've been trained to know how to do all the stuff, and you put your people through the training, your whole team. But by staying close to it, you're able to say, okay, well, I know this job needs this. I need you to go do that, and I'm going to go over here and do this next thing and get it ready for you to come do the next thing with me. So how does that help you stay close to the work? And really, I think the question is, how does it get your team to buy into you as their leader, because you're constantly improving and you actually can do it?
Well, I think one thing would allow them to continue to buy into me as a leader is they know that I'm not just satisfied with where we are. I'm always trying to see how I can do better, how my team can do better. and ultimately, how can I put myself and my team in the best position to win? And winning means doing a project on budget, on time, no injuries, everything is good. It also looks like just being able to show up and be a good steward out here. So if I say we're gonna charge you $2,000 for these materials and we only spend $1,200, I'm not gonna charge you that entire $2,000. I'm gonna charge you what we spent. But I guess kind of back to your question, it just shows them that I'm a student of the game. And I want people around me. The cliche saying, you don't want to be the smartest one, in your circle. You don't want to be the smartest one at the table. And that's because if I'm the smartest one, I think I know everything.
That's right.
But you have different experiences from Houston. Houston has different experiences from Devoski. So I'm not trying to be the smartest one. I'm trying to constantly learn and grow, because at one point in my life, I'll say, education wise, I wasn't so focused on learning. I didn't see the I guess the real benefit. So I was just going to school just to go to school, and wasn't studying, make decent grades to just get by. But now, being 10 years removed from high school and 5 years, 6 years removed from college, I've realized we have to constantly learn, we have to constantly grow. So I'm not trying to be in the same mindset that I was in 5 months from now tomorrow. I have to constantly grow and constantly learn. So I guess showing the team, showing the guys that I'm not gonna do something that I wouldn't ask them to do. It gives them some confidence in me to know that hey, I can get behind this guy, and I'll let him lead, and I'll follow.
Yeah, they when you say, hey, let's go, they're like, okay. They don't have to question it.
Yeah.
Because you've been there, you've done it, you've proven to them that you're a student, you're in it with them.
And I'll tell you this, they know if I say, hey, let's go knock this job out. Okay, let's do it. And they say let's do it because they know they're going to get paid. They know I'm not going to, disrespect them throughout the process. They know I'm going to educate them, but they know I'm coachable as well.
Yeah.
Because the guys that work for me, like I said, I'm 29 years old. The guys that work for me are, 35 and 40 and 50, and they have kids and families and wives and grandkids. So they know I'm going to do what I need to do. They know I'm going to do well by them. So they don't mind, scratching my back and going over and beyond, maybe staying late, or, I've actually had a situation where an industry partner, we were doing some demo, and I said, hey man, I need you to really help me out on this. I don't need you to charge me full price. And I'm the type of guy, I don't always ask for favors.
Yeah.
But when I ask for a favor, it's a big favor.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, I need you to help me out with this. And I gave him some insight. Hey, this is a elderly, this 3 elderly ladies, fixed income. We need to get this done or they're not going to be in compliance. So we need to get it done. And he could have simply charged me, $10,000-$15,000 for that demo and hauling, but he charged me like $4,000, and we were able to. And I didn't mark it up. I just kind of covered my overhead, but we were able to help a set of senior citizens get something done and not allow them to continue to stress about it. Yeah. So I think I kind of went across the world with that answer, but
well, you didn't. What you're talking about is, I was listening to it, so I was looking at it. JP Donnell has a podcast. He's connected with some top level military podcast stuff, leadership.
Okay.
But his last episode was how leaders are built. He talked about a young guy who was hired from outside of a construction firm to be a project manager and didn't know the content, didn't know the work. And some of the senior guys came to meet with him like, hey, we just want to meet you because this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They normally hire from within. And then he took that invitation from them to go learn what they do, and rather than doing office work, went and did the dirt work,
Real work.
and did the the hands-on, and that's what I'm hearing you say is that your team knows you're going to jump in there with them.
Can I tell you something funny?
Yeah.
Well, this may not be funny, but it's a life lesson. When I was in high school, I went to ask my boss, "Hey, can I get a raise?" And
Where were you working? Where were you
I was
doing?
working, and I'm gonna go ahead and put on the record. I was working at a restaurant, Wishbone Cafe,
Okay.
in Montgomery, Alabama. Uncle Paul, he was the owner, good family friend, and I had a conversation. I was like, "Hey," and I'm maybe 16 years old, and I'm like, "Hey, can I get a raise?" And he just he looked at me. We just laugh at this today, but he looked at me and was like, "No, you don't do enough around here." And when I tell you, I was so teed off. But looking back now, there's two things. There's two lessons in this that I wanna share with your audience. For one, as an entrepreneur, which he was the entrepreneur, I was the employee. Just because I want a raise doesn't mean I can get a raise, because there's so many variables to the numbers when it comes to businesses. But I'll also say, back to your point, when he said you don't do enough, or he probably didn't say that, but that's what I heard. I heard that and no. But I love Uncle Paul, great guy. I said, okay, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was I learned how to do everything in that restaurant. I started out as a bus boy, washing dishes, but from there I learned how to cook. I learned how to do the register. I learned everything, and till this day, that was my favorite job I've had. When I was working there, I was delivering Chinese food. There was a Chinese restaurant right next to it. So I've had several jobs, but that was the best job I've had, from the family environment, the customers, the staff, and just, getting a chance to see an entrepreneur, how he's moving, how he's growing his company. And that is what, those opportunities, those lessons, kind of fuel me today. And I get a chance to go back and use some muscle memory and say, hey, I remember how I felt in this position, and now my employees are kind of in that position. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there. When if you ever in a situation where your boss or whoever you report to says, hey, maybe I need more out of you, or you're looking for an increased role, you got to know what that's going to come with. And you got to know that, hey, I need to be able to understand everything that operates in this system, or I need to at least be able to be a subject matter expert and call the expert to kind of resolve the situation. But yeah,
I love that, because that's a life, not a mantra. The word escapes me, but that's just your ethos. Okay. If I want more, I got to do more. I got to learn more. I got to be better. I got to do better. And the youth, I think about our boys and all their knucklehead friends. Like, they all think they're going to be TikTok rich, or whatever. They're going to be NBA stars, whatever. It's like, no, I don't know, man. Like, okay, you want to be whatever you want to be, but what are you going to learn? What are you going to do? What are you going to put into it? And I think those things about them all. I don't say it out loud a lot of times.
They don't watch the podcast.
They don't even like, subscribe, and share. But hearing a young man who's made his own way say, I didn't get a raise because I didn't know enough, but then I learned it. Then I learned it all.
Learned it all.
I learned all of it. And like, okay, I'll show you, Uncle Paul. but what did that do for you? You wouldn't be sitting in the seat you're in life, the catbird seat, if he hadn't said no to you.
Well,
what if he gave you like an extra $2 an hour? What would you be doing right now?
I probably would have been feeling myself. Probably thinking that, my stuff don't stink or nothing like that. But I think that right there was early rejection. Rejection with substance. So the substance was, no, you cannot get this raise because Sally Sue, she deserves a raise, but she hasn't asked for a raise, but she does. She opens and she closes, and she takes the money to the bank, and she makes sure we have enough pennies. So that right there, that rejection, I mean, I didn't process it the way I process it now, but looking back, I mean, that was one of the easiest rejections that I've ever had in life, because nowadays I'm rejected by, people who call me out to do work, and, I give them a quote and we go through the process, and then they say, hey, I'm going to go with the cheaper guy.
Yeah.
Well, that cuts deep. That cuts deep. But now, I've had so many rejections, and I've had so many experience to know how to handle that. So now if Sally Sue says, hey, I'm going to go with the cheaper guy, I'm not going to blow her off. I'm not going to get, ticked off, curse her out, and anything like that. I'm going to say, thank you for your time. And sometimes Sally Sue may call me and say, hey, that didn't go well. I need your help.
Yep.
And
I got what I paid for. Can you help?
I got what I paid for. And, I get the opportunity to say, maybe, I don't know, maybe this isn't worth going behind, because, it's tough to go behind another contractor's work, especially when you really can't pinpoint what you did compared to what they did. Meaning, it's a lot of he say, she say, and if they didn't install this, if they didn't install the P-trap correctly, now the tile that I install it's not right. Maybe there's a leak because the P-trap wasn't installed, but I didn't know it was installed incorrectly, and now I put my tile and my product on it, and now you only see the output, but you don't know the input. You don't know what the rough end looks like. So a couple things right there. I've learned how to handle rejection but not take it personally. And I've also understood how to, just kind of piggyback from, opportunities when I thought it was going to go north and it went south, but just kind of keeping a level head and just being respectful.
Yeah, that's an important lesson. It's hard to learn that as a young person or a not young person. And you're right there in the middle. Yeah.
Right.
Final question, wrapping everything up. When people hear the name Boyd Walton Construction 10 years from now, what do you hope they say about the impact that your company have had on the community and the people?
Well, I hope that the work we've done speaks for itself. I hope the quality speaks for itself. And ultimately, I hope the service that we've given homeowners, we've given the communities, opportunities that we've given men and women in the communities, from jobs, from internships to giving back through philanthropy, sponsoring nonprofits, sponsoring youth sports. I want them to remember that. But I also want them to remember that, the young man that started this company, that grew this company, didn't land with a silver spoon. Meaning, most importantly, meaning that if I did it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
But, I've went through a lot to get here, and to be able to have this conversation and talk about the growth of this business. A lot of blood, sweat, tons and tons and tons of tears, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of what if it doesn't work. But the only thing that's allowed me to kind of get over that is just having hope, and that hope turned into faith. I mean, I've always had faith, but you have hope, then that hope turns into faith. So just being able to know, I'm doing this for a reason, and the setbacks, they're not setbacks, they're lessons. Those setbacks are experiences that I can talk about with other people in the future, and hopefully they don't make the same mistake I made, or lose the money I made on whatever that is. But at the end of the day, I just want people to know that I gave it my all when it came to the projects we built, when it came to the just the different things we did in the community, the impact that we're looking to make. I just want people to know it's genuine. It didn't happen overnight, and most importantly, it happened because many people believed in me, many people gave me opportunities, and many people gave me second chances when I needed it. So just saying all of that to say, I just want to be known for doing good work, treating people well, and letting the work speaks for itself.
Yeah. I think that's the most important thing there, is letting the work speak for itself. Because when you're gone, people say, yeah, Devoski did that.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's right, it's a good thing. So good, man. Thank you for sharing your story. I don't ever doubt America. I don't doubt Alabama. I don't doubt the young generation. But your story is very inspiring.
Thank you.
And I think, man, as young people, if we could get young people to listen to a guy like you, I think this would not be your last moment here, but if they could listen to a young guy like you and hear all those things, but here's what I'm going to do about it. That's awesome, man. Well done. Thank you for making the trip. Thank you for the transparency here. Matt, final thoughts?
Echo in Houston, thank you. We talked about earlier, our kids don't listen to this. This will probably be the first that my oldest 16-year-old Tegan listens to.
Hope so.
Are you going to hold him down and make him listen to it?
No, well, as we were talking, I was thinking about him. Like, he is toying, like, they're making the rounds every weekend in the afternoons after football or whatever, trying to get people to let them wash their exterior windows. Got the squeegees, all the stuff.
Yeah,
and the amount of rejection they're getting is large, but then there's some people, like he told me the other day, there's a guy that came out in the driveway, like, hey, hang on, here's 20, don't stop asking. Like, this is not the end thing, but it can be the first thing to keep building. So to intertwine that and for him to hear somebody that's younger, more on their level, not dad saying this, thank you for taking the time to put that out there.
Thank you, guys.
Powerful. Good stuff, man. Well, it is time to go. You got to go home, but you can't stay here.
You got to get out of here.
Yeah, wrap us up, Matt.
This is going to conclude another episode of Innovation Unplugged. Any of the information we've spoken about you'd like to see or hear more about, visit our website at trainforalabama.com. That's trainforalabama.com. And make sure to like, subscribe, and follow on all your social media platforms. Thank you.